Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It has been, I think, a week or two since we last met, but for good reason. We did a lot of reading previously. We're going to pick back up on the news because we're in August and election time is right around the corner. Tonight, we're going to discuss mail-in voting, absentee voting, the difference between the two. If there's a difference at all, but there is slightly. We're going to talk about Louis DeJoy, Trump's homeboy who has essentially hijacked the post office for him. And something a little different, but it's taken over the internet, bitch. WAP. Okay? Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion. And why is none of your business? First of all, hello to everyone. Hey Eric, Jamar, how are you? Leslie, Michonne, what's going on, my dear? Angelita, Oklahoma City, how's everything going? Yes, I am live. Nzinga, what's going on, my love? Ro, in Hollywood. Hey Natasha, what's going on? TA New Orleans. We have a lot to discuss. Now, I haven't done one of my deep dives into a process in a while, and it's not really a process, but I feel like since we are coming up on that time where November 3rd, Election Day, is right around the corner, I wanted to get into mail-in voting and absentee voting early, well, as early as I can, before we get too close to November. And just kind of dispel some of the questions that I've been getting. I've been getting a lot of inboxes about mail-in voting and what I think about it and, you know, how I feel and what we should do and blah, blah, blah. I feel like this. Whatever way you need to vote, vote. Okay? Now, with mail-in voting, of course, with this election, with COVID, there are a lot of people who are going to be voting via mail, bitch. And I don't blame them. We have a lot of seniors at risk. The cases in the United States are still rising despite your crazy-ass president going on Axios on HBO, showing his ass, looking like an episode straight out of Veep, bitch. Okay? But a lot of people are going to be voting. So much so, okay, a lot of the election judges, I know here in my state of Maryland, a lot of the election judges have not been reporting. They dropped out. They said they can't do it. They like, bitch, I'm not coming to the polls with Corona going on. So here's what I did. Here's an announcement. I am going to be an actual election judge in my city of Baltimore. I contacted the local board of elections and I said, hey, I've seen the reports. You guys need help. I'm here. What can I do? And surprisingly, because no shade, everything with Baltimore City is a process. But surprisingly, they were very gracious, very thankful, very warm. So DDM, Secretary of Shade, you might see me at your precinct on Election Day if you choose to vote in person. Now, I know you may be saying, DDM, why in the hell are you volunteering to go out in COVID? Here's why. Because if you think about it, a lot of the election judges or the people that you see at the polls, the election people that help you get things done and get through the process, a lot of them are elderly. You don't see that many young people, at least I don't see that many young people working the polls, helping you through that process. So this year, instead of, I know I do Secretary of Shade and things like that, but I wanted to do something, and it's not, by any means this big grand gesture, but I'm going to be documenting the process of what it takes to become an election judge. Now, it may be different in different jurisdictions, okay? But I know for me, I want to document that process because there's a few things going on behind the scenes that you guys are going to be seeing pretty soon. But I'm going to document that process just to kind of give younger people, my generation and younger, kind of like an idea of what it's like and kind of get them more involved. Of course, I'm going to fancy it up. I'm not just going to show up to the polls in a regular ass outfit, bitch. I'm going to be ready. So District 12, I don't know which district I'm going to be assigned to as a poll judge, because you can be assigned, you may not necessarily be assigned to the district in which you live to be an election judge or a poll worker. But I wanted to service the community in some way. It's a small gesture. It's going to be a long day, but I am definitely excited to not only vote, but also do my part and be out and talk to the people and help them with the process of voting. So on election day, you will see me at the polls here in Baltimore City. Now, as far as mail-in voting is concerned and absentee voting, so a lot of people have asked me, they're like, DDM bitch, like, absentee voting, mail-in voting, we're going to all be mailing in. Now, here's the thing. Some states are automatically sending out mailed ballots, so it depends on your state. So you would have to kind of do that research to see if your state is automatically going to be doing automatic mail out of the ballots. In some states with absentee voting, usually you have to provide some kind of reason why you cannot be in, why you can't physically go to the polls and vote. And that's typically what absentee voting is for a lot of military folks overseas and things like that. Of course, because we are in a different time with COVID, the mail-in voting process has changed a little bit. So it's very important that you contact your local, board of elections and kind of figure out in your state what the lay of the land is going to be in regards to that. So you gotta kind of look into that. The mail-in votes do count. I know here in the state of Maryland, in Baltimore City, in our last election rather, they had drop boxes where you can drop in. We still had in-person voting, but we also had drop boxes. So that may be something that you may be able to do, fill out your vote and go and drop it in a drop box versus mail. And the reason why you may say, DDM, why are you going through mail-in votes? Because, bitch, the post office is not fucking dependable. Okay? Now, in my goddamn state, you got people in certain areas in the state of Maryland and Baltimore City, certain parts of Baltimore County, that have not gotten mail in 2 weeks, bitch. So they already starting with the conjure. Okay? A lot of that is problems. Now, back in May, Trump appointed Louis DeJoy, okay, as the Postmaster General. Now, a little background on Louis DeJoy, because this is a whole scene. It's always a story. It's always a conjure, okay? Louis DeJoy is a huge Republican fundraiser. He contributes a lot to Republican campaigns. He's one of Trump's homeboys, bitch. Okay, so in the U.S., I'm reading parts here. The United States Postal Service Board of Governors announced DeJoy's appointment on May 6, 2020. The National Association of Letter Carriers, Frederick Rolando, the president of that organization, released a statement congratulating him and basically saying, bitch, keep politics out of the Postal Service, a.k.a. bitch, don't try it. We already know you Trump homeboy, bitch. Don't try it. He gets in office in May. Over the course of the summer, as you may or may not have noticed, your mail is getting slower and slower and slower, okay? They're even saying that priority mail, you know how you pay that extra money for priority mail, bitch? You trying to get that bill check in on time for you old bitches that still paying with checks. Y'all ain't bitches, but you know what I mean. Gender non-descriptive, specific, okay? Y'all still mailing in checks to pay bills, trying to buy time, because your ass can call in and use your debit card. For all of y'all, it's taking a little bit long, okay? The mail has slowed. So, Allegedly, what has happened in regards to this, okay, he did an overhaul of the service. 23 postal executives were reassigned or displaced, the new organization shows. Analysts say the structure centralizes power around DeJoy, who is a former logistics executive and major ally of President Trump. Now, catch this, T-bitch. It's also rumored, well known, it ain't a rumor, bitch, DeJoy and his wife, okay, have assets, meaning that they have stock between 30 to 75 million in UPS and trucking company J.B. Hunt. So not only is he Trump homeboy, okay, not only is he Trump homeboy, not only is he a Republican fundraiser, but he also has investments in UPS, basically rival companies. So if I got 30 to 75 million, bitch, in UPS, JP Hunt, and whatever the fuck else he probably got going on, why would I want the U.S. Postal Service to do bad? Especially when the USPS has been in a financial pretty much free fall for quite some time. Also, may I note that Mr. DeJoy is the first person appointed to Postmaster General to this job without any post office experience in 2 decades. Okay? So it's not necessarily, saying that this is unprecedented. We have had people that may not have been as qualified before, but it's just really suspicious and funny that we have this guy, taking over in a time when we have an election coming up. So it's a whole lot of tomfoolery with this. So he's basically overhauled that piece with the post office. And it's not the workers, okay? Allegedly, from what I'm seeing, not allegedly, bitch. I try to say that, to give people the benefit of the doubt, but in this case, it's just a fact. The postal workers, they've cut the overtime, okay? Cut the overtime, in a lot of cases. And also, too, the postal unions are coming out and saying, look, don't blame your letter carrier. Don't get mad at anybody, here. We're baffled by this. Like, you have people who have worked at the post office for decades, for years, who are like, bitch, we've never seen no shit like this in our life. So that's why I say it's going to be very important that we get on top of mail-in voting early. Okay? It's going to be very important because you don't want to take that chance. Or we may have to end up sacrificing physically going to the polls and standing in line. To my young people, once again, I said it at the top of the broadcast. I noticed a lot of people are just joining. Please contact your local board of elections. See what you can do to become an election judge or a poll worker, because a lot of our senior citizens who do that job cannot do that job and are not doing that job this year because of COVID, which is understandable. So it's a lot going on. So Congress has also brought Louis DeJoy up. They've been, talking to him. They want resolutions. I personally feel like Congress isn't really talking enough, to be quite frank. I feel like for as much of a song and dance that we go through in this country with these political officials, Congress, y'all need to step on top of this. I mean, this is your fucking job, okay? And I'm not quite sure how this is going to pan out. We may end up standing in line for hours. I'm prepared to work pretty much a 16, 17, 18-hour day at the polls on election day. Also, too, sidebar, Joe Biden. Now, I wasn't going to really talk about this, but the spirit has moved me a lot. Joe Biden is playing this game, and I'm getting ready to sound like the biggest conspiracy theorist in the world, but not really. So Joe Biden, let's rewind the tape. The rewind sound. Joe Biden didn't think that he was going to get the nomination, didn't think he was going to win any primaries. Campaign pretty much did. Black people in the South resurrected Joe Biden campaign, specifically black women. Now, we all know sometimes Joe Biden just says shit off the hip that it's like, dog, you should have ran that through somebody first, okay? Now, here's the thing, okay? When Joe Biden's campaign got resurrected like Lazarus, bitch, okay? He like, yeah, I'm a pick a black woman as my vice president. You know, the black community, all this high shit, okay? Now, Joe Biden was supposed to announce his vice president pick last week. It's now a new week. And he's supposed to be announcing this week. Okay? I hate to break it to you. And I know here's the thing, for my folks who are, because I know it's a lot of people out there that say, DDM, you know, you saying vote for Biden because there's no other choice. And I still believe that. I'd rather have Biden than not Trump. And I'd rather vote for that. I'd rather vote for Biden and he lose and say that I did everything in the process as it exists that I can, than not do anything. Okay? And everybody's not going to agree with me. That's fine. Then not do anything and Trump wins and I think to myself, damn, maybe I should have went to the poll. Damn, maybe I'd rather check all boxes. Now, as I've said previously in previous broadcasts and previous meetings, Joe Biden is not the future of the Democratic Party. He's not the future of this fucking country, to be honest. Joe Biden is merely here to stop the bleeding. Okay? He's merely here to stop the bleeding. And you don't have to agree with that. I understand. But I just don't feel comfortable just, fuck that. We just gonna, if they don't give us what we want as black people, I'm just not gonna vote. I feel you. I feel you. There are changes that need to happen. But sis, not on my watch. Now, I know I'm sitting here looking like a goddamn Catholic, Buddhist monk, whatever. I'm not trying to be holier than thou, even though I may look it. Okay? But I'd rather go down with my hands on the steering wheel than just drown trying to find a lifeboat. That's all I'm saying. Now, I say that to say this. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope when we meet again that I would have to retract what I'm getting ready to say. I hope I do. But I feel like Joe Biden getting ready to gag y'all. He's not going to pick a black woman. In my heart of hearts, and I hope I'm wrong, and I could be wrong, he going to renege on that promise. And that's basically what's going to happen. Because looking at some of the people the women that he's looking at, black women, you got Kamala Harris, who honestly, aside from her record, you know, I know she got a record as a prosecutor, what have you. But the way that the public and the press was so hard on Kamala, like, it's amazing to me that her record was so scrutinized by both sides, black people, white people, the whole, like, the black woman had to be here. Had to be here to get that nomination. But I want to say this. You got Val Demings, Susan Rice, and a few others. I don't think you're going to pick a black woman. And I think the reason may be is because of what America is going through right now, what it looks like. And I think that a lot of these women are qualified. Somebody just said in the chat that they don't recall him saying that he was going to pick a black woman. I kind of recall that. I could be wrong. I'll go back and fact check. But a lot of people are saying, a lot of reputable outlets are saying that, and I do recall that being the case, but I could be wrong. Okay, like I said, with Secretary of Shade, this is my opinion. I bring you the facts or my research. You always feel free to do your own research as well. But he get Ray gag, y'all. And I personally hope he doesn't, because what that says, it reinforces what we already know, that to a certain degree, I don't even want to say a certain degree, the Democratic Party does take the black vote for granted. They just do. And in the time we're living in, we're in such a catch-22, because what do? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but watching the Axios interview, it really frightened me. Like, a lot of shit goes on in this administration that is frightening, but to see it like that on television was frightening. Okay? And I think that these women are very qualified. They're more than qualified. But just like I knew Trump was going to win the last election, because I was reading the water, you got to read the rum, bitch. Ultimately, I know how this country works, especially as a black person. And that's the bottom line. Okay, somebody said he said it would be a woman of color. Okay. Let's go with the woman of color argument. Because we love to throw women of color around. People of color. Let's say he said he's going to pick a woman of color. Do you think that's really going to happen? Do you think that's really going to happen? I hope I'm wrong. But we'll see. At this point, we can only hope, we can only pray. There's a lot going on. A lot of unrest. A lot of people are getting armed. For those of you who may not know, I am an avid gun shooter. I'm not a gun collector, bitch. But I'm an avid gun shooter. And I can tell you from experience, I've never seen a range this crowded in my life. It's so bad at the gun range that when you typically go to a range, they have the guns in the casing. You pick which gun you want to shoot, which type of gun. Usually they have, the 9mm all together, the 38s, the 22s, the 380s. And you shoot, you got to pay for your rounds if you don't bring them. But you got to pay for your bullets. It's so bad. It's so packed that the range I usually go to is out of 9mm bullets. Okay? It's so bad, they only have 380 and 22 ammunition. You can only get one box. You can only buy one box of the ammunition type. People are so nervous and so scared that the nation is in a place, and I hate to say this, I feel like no matter who wins, we all gonna lose. No matter who wins, we all gonna lose. They're calling for the NRA to be dismantled. Find time for that. That shit should have been happening. Okay? And some of you are commenting in the chat, the price of ammunition has gone up. Yes, it has. And I'm going to say this. I've noticed an influx of black folks in the range. I remember when I would go, there were black people there, but it's like a lot of black folks at the gun range now. And the volume is so unprecedented. Guns are selling, like the range that I usually go to, they're like, like DDM, we like, as soon as we get shit in, it's gone. And I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all. Like, that's where it's at right now. We talk about a lot of shit in these meetings. That's happening. And they kind of reported on the news, but I'm telling you firsthand, shit is real out here. Okay? And I the only thing I could say is, if you believe in a higher power, to pray. But also too, I also understand, even if you're a person that's heavily into religion and the Bible, which I typically don't talk about, even in the Bible there has to be a reckoning sometimes. And I don't think that we're at a place where it's unavoidable. I feel for people with children in this time. I feel for children. I pray for children. When did we say, when we have COVID and things rising and numbers, right, cases rising, and we're playing with the lives of children? Even if you think COVID is a hoax, even if you think the numbers aren't as high as they are, out of just sheer, like, these are our kids, you would think that these districts and things would be better than that. And we're sending our children to packed schools with no masks. Why are we doing that? We'll see. And like I said, these are my personal thoughts. It's not law. You can disagree. I'm just saying. I'm stating what I see. And it could be fear. It could be that people are just jumping to conclusions. By all means, I hope that is the case. Okay? I hope that that's the case. But I'm alarmed, to say the least. People have asked me, who would I pick for, Biden's VP pick? I honestly don't know. I don't know. It would be a different story. Like, and the crazy thing is, it shouldn't even be where we're, like, worried about the pick for the vice president. Usually, like, historically in this country, like, close political pundits, people who really super duper are into politics and follow politics, they be looking into who the VP pick is. But never as a nation on a casual surface level have people been this anxious about a vice president pick. And in the era that we're living in, with the pandemic that we have going on, like, this shouldn't even be close. Like, we shouldn't even be worried about if Joe Biden's going to win. But people are really worried, like, I don't know. Even with a pandemic. But people are legitimately worried, can this person pull in the vote? And you know what that says? That says that people have a lack of confidence, really, that Joe Biden can win. That's what that says. Because guess what? When Obama Got denominated. We didn't give a fuck. It was like, oh, hey, Joe Biden. Hey. We didn't give a shit about that. It was like Joe Biden was an afterthought in 2008. But now, that shit matters. And we think about it. So I'm going to just leave it with that. I honestly don't know. I think Susan Rice is more than qualified. I think Val Demings is more than qualified. I'm not even mad at Kamala Harris. I'm not. I know, like, shame on me. Don't shoot the messenger. I think she's qualified. Any one of those ladies are more qualified than the person that's sitting in the top chair right now. So it is what it is. Now, one thing I want to talk about, I kind of want to close with because we talked so heavy today. And for those of you who don't follow, if you're not on the internet regularly, or if you don't follow hip-hop, if you don't follow rap, but obviously everybody's seen it because even, politicians have been chiming in. So, I have been looking, and I've said a few things over the weekend. So we have Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Wet Ass Pussy. They dropped the song called Wet Ass Pussy. Now, I come from a time where I listened to Lil' Kim, Foxy Brown, Trina. My grandmother played Millie Jackson. I got Millie Jackson vinyls. Okay? I done heard some nasty shit at 10 and 11 years old. Sneaking shit to listen to it. Okay? I don't personally see what the big deal is. But upon examination, I think what it is that those people that I mentioned, like especially Millie Jackson, she was what was called a basement record. That record was played after hours in the basement. It was hidden. Like, you didn't have the Millie Jackson record out. Lil' Kim came along. Yeah, it became more popular. But the nasty Kim records, in most cases, wasn't the single, or they were severely butchered and edited to the point that it was like, well, why did y'all even bother about playing this record on the radio? I think what it is now is we are in the internet age where it is hard to, I'm going to be real with y'all. I would never have a child in this time and age. Never. Between the political climate, between the access to so many adult things, I just would never have a child in this climate. Okay? Not saying I'm above the material. It's some hoes in this house. Hey, shout out to Frank Ski, Baltimore Club Music. You're getting a check. I love it. The video, high production value, great choreo. I'm not even into WAP, but I was slightly sold on WAP watching the video. I'm just saying, I don't do WAP. But I was sold on WAP. Okay? Of course, you had a lot of men, a lot of straight men and some gay, who said, oh, it's trash. This is vulgar. Why are they doing this? Now, here's the thing. And this argument has been made online plenty of times. We all know men make these type of records all the time with no problem, no backlash. I think also, too, and this is just me looking at it, and I thought about if I was even going to talk about this, because I feel like as a man, you can't really talk about this. I think the best thing to do is to just not say anything, to be honest. I think the way it's presented, it's so colorful, it's so candy. It's so pop. Okay? And I think about this. I think a woman should have the right to express her sexuality in any way that she so please. That's not my argument. I like the song. I really like the video. I like both Megan and Cardi, to be honest. But I think about this. You can't protect your children from everything. However, the marketing, the color, everything about it is pop. Those colors speak to young people. And I'm not saying that they're wrong, because I don't think that they're wrong. But as if I was a parent, I would be horrified. Especially if I had a little girl. And I don't think artists should be held to a standard that of role models, because it's your job to raise your child. It is not Megan Thee Stallion's job to raise your child. It is not Cardi B's job to raise your child. It's not Nicki Minaj's job to raise your child. You raise your child. Okay? At the end of the day. And I am a firm believer, because guess what? I listen to Kim, I listen to Foxy, I listen to Trina. But my mother raised me in such a way, she raised us in such a way, that she instilled so much in me that I was able to separate the entertainment from the reality, because my mother did her job. Understand that Diane differentiates. She said, yes, this is entertainment, but I better not see your black ass doing it. You can watch it. You can sneak it. I can't stop you. But I better not see your ass doing it. So if as a parent, you did your job, you ain't nothing to worry about. And if you did your job as a parent, and you in your heart did everything that you could, okay, and your child still end up going the wrong way, that ain't on you. Because you did your job. I think what we forget about children is that they're human beings with their own minds and their own ways of living. Okay? I think we need to get out, especially in the black community, we need to get out of the idea of our children being a reflection of us forever. I had to tell a lady, she drove my Uber yesterday. I went to the market, and she said her son wasn't doing the right things. I said, well, miss, how old is your son? He's 30. Well, ma'am, what's going on? She tell me. I say, did you do everything you were supposed to do? I took her to church. I did everything I was supposed to do. I'm just so scared I don't want people to think I'm a bad parent. Ma'am, your son is fucking 30. You did your job. That's on your son if he can't get his shit together. And I'm speaking to the parents tonight. I don't have any children, but I feel the spirit in me to talk to y'all. At some point, when my ass, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to keep it 100. In my 20s, and I never shared, I used to boost my ass off. I knew it was wrong. My mother ain't raised me to be a booster, but I did it. She ain't teach me how to boost. There was no boosters in my immediate family, but I did it. Guess what made me stop boosting? My ass got pinched. Fortunately for me, the officer that caught me said, look, young man, I'll never forget it. It was in Kmart of all places. Cops come in, they sit you in the back. He goes, you have one or two things that you can do today. I can take you downtown, and this is a black cop. I can take you to Central Booking and fuck your life up over $200 worth of merchandise. Or you can get your ass up out of this store and go do something with yourself. I got up and I did something with myself because the fear was there. Sometimes we're so scared to let our children, let our husbands, let our wives, let our family members fail, that we become a prisoner and a hostage to family trying to help them. And trying to help, you've become captive. You are a hostage now. Trying to save another life that you're not in the business of saving. Okay? Let them fail. And to bring that in with WAP, I'm going to keep it 100. If your daughter a hoe, she was a hoe before that video came out. No matter how many dresses you put her in, how many churches you took her to, how many private schools you enrolled her in. If she was a hoe before that video came out. That ain't got nothing to do with you, sis. That's you deflecting. That's you feeling insecure, or you feeling like you ain't do something you was supposed to do as a parent. Now, as far as the men who have something to say or feel a way about a woman expressing herself, you have a problem. Because I look on Facebook every day and I see pictures and postings of black girls, teenagers, missing. And I know I'm preaching tonight. I know y'all, I'm sorry. But I see nothing but posts of young black girls missing, abducted, have not been seen. It's never trending on social media amongst black men. Okay? I never see that shared. I never see think pieces on it. Bring back our girls was one moment, and it didn't last that long. Hashtag. Where is that outrage? Where's the outrage? And I'm even guilty of this because I didn't go in on that case like I should have. About Breonna Taylor. We kind of lumped her in with the George Floyd situation. But I feel like as men, we didn't go up for Breonna Taylor the way that we should have. We didn't. And you say, and I didn't mean to, but now we in a whole section about we got to discuss this because especially as a gay man, I'm gonna tell you something. For me, it's interesting watching heteronormative roles and how they work. It's like being an outside, like having an omniscient view. You understand what I'm saying? It's so interesting to me. how we can bring up a woman's past and who she is. And, we're disregarding that Megan Thee Stallion is a college student who's probably going to graduate next year. We bring up people's past. But when Gayle King, now granted, it was in poor taste. I'm not disputing that. But when Gayle King brought up Kobe's past, black men roasted the fuck out of that lady. Y'all roast Oprah every chance that y'all get. But Oprah just bought 26 billboards in the area where Breonna Taylor lives. She put Breonna Taylor on the cover of her magazine, the first time I think in the history of Oprah magazine where that bitch wasn't on the cover. Okay? What did you do? I think we need to re-examine, and I wanted to wait until this time to speak on this. We need to re-examine gender roles and true equality amongst genders. And I say this to the women. Who say, it's trash, it's this, it's that. And I understand where you're coming from, ladies. But somebody posted something at some point, and they said, and I've seen these posts, Beyonce's appropriating Africa. Beyonce's doing this with Black is King. Let's just think about it. In the past 2-3 weeks, you have had major cultural entertainment moments from black women or women of color. And in both cases, people of color had a problem with it. One woman depicting everything you love, and that was a love letter to black men, to be honest. Then you got the other side of women owning their sexuality and everything that they are, even the homage to the hood hair. Before, y'all was buying Russian Remy, Malaysian Yaki. Y'all was getting hood hair. Girls now don't even know how to do them styles. That was a homage to black culture to a certain degree. We missed that. We missed it. So we have to, and I say this to bring that in also to when we say all black lives matter. Because, see, sometimes I think we think black lives matter, we think male black lives matter. No, black women lives matter, black trans lives matter, black gay lives matter. All black lives matter. Not just the ones that look good, not just the ones that you can relate to, not just the ones that went viral. So when I leave you tonight, I want you to think about that. And men, in regards to women expressing themselves, I want you to think and ask yourself this question. What makes me so uncomfortable? What elicits such a vile and harsh reaction from me? That I'm so visceral in speaking about a woman expressing herself in her purest way? Ask yourself that question. And I guarantee you, one of the reasons why is because as black men, and this is not an excuse for you, this is an observation. Black men are often the lowest on the totem pole when shitted on. So you need somebody to shit on. Instead of you shitting on the people that's oppressing you, you shit on the people that's standing beside you. And that's what I'm going to leave you with tonight. That's what I'm going to leave you with. I'm done. I'm done. Now, once again, please go out and vote. Stay active, stay vigilant. Ask questions. If you're not following me on social media, @DapperDanMidas. Okay? If you feel inclined to contribute to the collection plate, Venmo or Cash App @DapperDanMidas. DapperDanMidas. Okay? We'll reconvene once Biden decides that he's going to do something. We'll probably meet back up, I want to say Thursday, if not Thursday, Sunday. But until then, make sure you click the bell at the top for notifications. I love you guys dearly. Thank you for your support. Also, great news. I just got verified on Instagram. I got my little blue check. Thanks to the cabinet. It came, out of nowhere. So thank you for that. Small victories, small wins. But I'll see you guys soon. I have a new single coming out at the end of this month as well. So look out for that. With that being said, you guys have a great evening. Be blessed. Love on each other. Support each other because we are all we have. Good night and peace and love.